Good afternoon again, and thank you for joining South Florida Fertility Expo and our Yes to Fertility series, where we're talking about womb healing and fertility and providing resource and support to individuals on their fertility journey. And today we have a lovely guest with us. Her name is Maria, and Maria is actually a regular here with us. She's definitely a family member for the Fertility Expo. She was involved with us last year, again this year, and we're doing another interview with her because her information is so wonderful and amazing and definitely life changing. And one of the things we want to share with individuals who are watching our videos is, especially during COVID-19, that there are ways and means for us to utilize this time of us being at home in a productive way and learning tools, opening ourselves to different practitioners that can help us be more holistic for the journey is definitely something that we can do without question. And Maria is one of those individuals who has lots of knowledge and lots of resources. And if you don't even have to be here in Miami to be a part of this. You can be wherever you are because she does online classes. So let me bring Maria on the platform right now. And then we're going to talk about Heal Your Womb meditation. Maria. Hi,
Good
Maria.
morning. Good afternoon. Hi,
Good
Michelle.
afternoon. Greetings. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for accepting me in the family of the South Florida Fertility Expo. You are doing with your team an amazing, amazing work, helping so many families, not only women, it's a family issue, right?
Right.
One that is so dear to my heart. So I'm very, very happy to be here to share what I've been finding in my work with women and fertility, and just very, very happy to share this time with you.
Well, again, I want to say thank you for joining us. And so let's talk about healing your womb.
Let's move
What
here.
are, let's talk about healing a womb. And first, let's talk about your business. What do you do? What's your business all about? Give us a backstory on who you are.
Absolutely. 10 years ago, I received a womb blessing. I was living in Spain and I said, wow, I've never heard of this, but it resonated so big with me that I immediately started to share about it. At the same time, the women's circles started to happen around my community and I started to become very involved. Then I moved to Miami 2 years later and I started doing the same things that I started doing in Spain, sharing women's circles, sharing the womb blessing. And then that was like the first step that took me to going deeper into womb healing and womb consciousness because our womb has a consciousness. This was all very new to me, and it opened a very big door, not only to help me but to help other women. I have had trainings before I got the womb blessing for Reiki healing, massage therapy, and I was practicing yoga for many, many years. So these just came hand in hand. And since I started, then the shamanic healing came. I went to study with shamans and herbs, healing herbs that now I incorporate in my healing practice. And one of the practices that I do most is working with womb steaming and vaginal steaming, which is very simple, but it does have you need to know some knowledge about what herbs to use. But it's herbs and steam, herbs and water, just direct from the source, from Pachamama, from Mother Earth. And the results have been amazing. So it's a combination, it's holistic. So it's a combination of energy work, um, holistic approach as massage, and then also the part of the herbs and connecting to Mother Nature. So all those three combined.
So let me ask you, were you already on this journey prior to you getting your womb blessing? Or is this something that developed over time after you received the womb blessing?
Yes, I was in the journey of consciousness, of awakening, and that happened very clearly. I have a before and after, and it was due to a Reiki experience, and that was about 20 years ago. And then 10 years ago is when I received the womb calling. I really felt it so strongly. It's like I remembered. I feel I was doing this. If there's previous lifetimes, I probably was doing this type of work before.
Wonderful. So tell us about your methodology and your company. So that's how you got into the space. And what does La Musa Circle do right now?
The Musa Circle right now is space online, as you said before, but also I'm starting to open my home center for this type of work, group work. We do healing sessions one-on-one. I'm also starting to train some women that have been taking my programs that are also feeling the call. And so what we do is healing sessions, specifically centered in womb healing. And also I've discovered that women empowerment, when you start in the womb, there's this it's like a very good place to start for when you want to create changes in your life, or you're in the midst of a big change. When we go back into the womb, it's a really good place to start any projects that we're starting, or if we're going through a life crisis, whatever it is that's happening in our life, we can do womb healing work and it's going to help us, even if it's not related to womb. And of course, a lot of my clients have fertility questions and they've been dealing with fertility. And so I've learned along the way what have helped many of the women that have come here. And some do, both treatments at the same time, more medical and holistic approach. Some, depending on what stage they are in their program, in their fertility journey, they would decide to start with natural, or they've done all the other part, now they come and they want to try the holistic approach. So it depends. No, it really varies.
Okay, great. So, what would you like to share with us today? Because I know you have an arsenal full of information and you have an open platform pretty much to share regarding healing our womb meditation.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I would love to share with you the presentation that I have prepared. Excuse me. And then we'll go through a womb meditation. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay, so let me share my screen here. And we'll just go into the womb meditation. Here we go. Is it working? Let's see why it's not sharing the screen. Let me go back here. It says it's shared. I'm going to do it again because for some, there it is.
Do it again.
Okay. Now it is.
All right, so here we are.
Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Am I on camera as well or not?
Yes, you are. You are on camera.
All righty. So when you connect with your womb in a spiritual way, you will activate this very special part of your body that acts like another brain, and it's a source of wisdom. Okay. I discovered this as I started creating a relationship with my womb, because as I tell a lot of my clients, I had already, been a mother. My son was already like 18 years old. I had gone through so many things in life. I had never seen my womb as a spiritual center, a place I could go ask questions, connect, tap into the womb wisdom. It just really came later. and it came with information around consciousness around my period. And it's just very important that all women, we go back into that source of wisdom, whether we have a womb or not, because energetically we have our energy bodies, right? So we can tap into the energy of that, of the womb, of the uterus, even if it was removed. That's very important to know. So I became a womb healer. It really found me. I'm also a priestess and a spiritual midwife, helping women birth themselves into another state of well-being and happiness. I'm a certified herbal womb steam practitioner, which is what I was talking to you about before, that helps with all things related to our wombs, whether it's something physical that we are going through or emotional. Other tools that I use is the Reiki, the massage, the ancestral healing. This has to do with family constellations, and it's just going back into our ancestors, into our family tree, and retrieve very, very valuable information that it's what I found, always present in our life. And sometimes it's really the source of the obstacles that we're finding along the way. The Munaiki, which is like a shamanic energy healing, like a Reiki, and shamanic arts. So here I am 10 years later that I received that first womb blessing, and I've worked with many, many women doing the womb healing, the women's circles, the women empowerment. And I've really discovered that every womb has a story that needs to be seen, that needs to be told, okay? So some of these stories are stories of birthing children or projects or creating a new company, gardens. It's like that creative force inside of us that is just really, because it is our biology. Our biology is to birth, is to give life. So when we give life, it's not only, human life, it's what we want to bring forth into the world. So some have a desire to sing. Some wombs are very, very ill or have very deep wounds. So, of course, I have my own womb story. And because of this healing path is how I'm able to help other women. So what is womb healing, holistic womb healing? We have different options. For me, it's great to be able to combine what we have. It really depends. It's very personal. It's very individual path because it is your body, it's your intuition. You really need to tap into your intuition before you make the choices. But it's good to have information before you decide on which path you're going to take. So we have the medical, where we go get our pap smear, our blood test, and we decide to the IVF or whatever path we go through with the medical. And then we have the natural, with herbs and grounding and massage and working with the elements. Acupuncture is really good. Suyok therapy, which is something I practice, which is an acupuncture with seeds and color. And then we have the spiritual, which is the Reiki, the ancestral healing, and prayer and art. Here is a painting of one of my clients. She did a 28-day program with me, which is centered on womb healing. And I always ask them to paint their wombs. And it doesn't have to be literal. It's just what expression comes out. And I love this picture. This was done like about 2 months ago. So it's very important that as women, we really make the choices from a place of empowerment. Working with my own womb and working with the other women, I discovered that there's a connection between our throat chakra and our wombs. So I also discovered, because I would be working with women on the womb, and I would ask them, and I do this almost every time, and almost every time, I wouldn't say almost, every time I get the same situation where women have a hard time just releasing their voice out. Just right now, place your hand in your womb and your hand in your throat. And let's just breathe. Let's take three breaths. And this is just a little short exercise. Breathe in your womb. I'm going to ask you to breathe in. And as you exhale, just release your voice with a sigh. Letting all that tension just express itself through the voice. And as you do that, you feel you're just giving that to Mother Earth. And as I started this journey, continue to do this, I realized how difficult it was for all women to just express her voice, just to let that side out. And I would repeat it, and I repeated 5-6 times. I would do it with them. Let your voice out, and the voice wouldn't come out. Not even with that small little sigh of relief. These two centers, our womb and our throat, are our creation centers. So I realized that all the things we were never allowed to create, to express ourselves into the world, stay here in our wombs, and eventually it could become a wound in our womb. When we start putting our consciousness in our womb, it will impact positively the way we speak in the world, the way we present ourselves in the world. So if we're going to a fertility journey, it's so important to be empowered. There's so much information. We are in a vulnerable place. We have a goal in mind. So it's important that we do our research and that we ultimately trust in our gut, in our intuition. I've read a couple of books and papers, and this one I thought this really caught my attention. It says, when women's voices are ignored in the construction of knowledge pertaining to pregnancy and childbirth, they become alienated from the experience. And then this book, which I highly recommend, is called Vagina: A New Biography. It says, before the 19th century, women's pregnancies, womb and vaginal health was a thing of the midwives. So there is a coming back to returning to the wise women's way, okay, which is not only the medical aspect, but the women who always tended to the women body. So these women were wise women who knew about herbs, who knew about the elements, who knew about nourishing teas. We need to take care of our bodies, what I call the inner ecology. Our bodies, as women, we are the earth. In our wombs, we plant the seed and then we bring life. In the earth, we plant the seed and we have food. So really it's important, the basic, when they say the Mediterranean diet is amazing because they use good quality ingredients. So that's what we need to do to our bodies. With good water, good food, good thoughts, fresh air and earth, a lot of soil under our feet. Walk barefoot, be the earth. Go lay down, put belly to belly with Pachamama, with Mother Earth. Put your ear, listen, she will let you know what you need. She is a living being. And she wants us to be happy and healthy because she's our mother. So it's important if we're doing, if we're taking the route of the medical path, to have one foot on the earth, connected, listening, doing the other part. A week ago, one of my clients finally gave birth, and she did the IVF and she did my program. And it was just so amazing to see the results. So vaginal steam, as I was telling you before, it's herbs and water. So for fertility, there's a protocol that you need to be 3 months doing the herbs and the steaming with the nourishing teas and the rest of the energy work before you try to conceive. So you need to have that window of 3 months. And why? Because you're restoring all your inner ecology of your vagina, your womb. Basically, in the vaginal walls are they're like rugged, and in between those, in between the skin, sometimes we get all residue of our period. So with the steam, we're cleaning and cleansing that area so that we can have our vaginal canal just clean for conception. Some women that have done the steaming with me and the rest of the program, they get back to having a healthy mucus, which we know is very important for fertility. So herbs and water, it can't be more simple than that. Then do you know there are nourishing teas for your womb? Some of them just grow wild. You open your door and there are all these wild herbs that will be good for you. One of my favorites that I use all the time is raspberry leaf, red clover, nettles, chickweed, and the list goes on. This is at a friend's farm here in Miami. It's by 2 women farmers. And this one that I have here is lemon balm, which is really good for herpes, for example. So herbs are like earth angels. They help us in so many ways. So here I'm with a client doing the womb massage. I create altars on women's womb because for me, the womb is so sacred. I feel we hold the universe inside our wombs. And for me, it makes sense to honor that space and create an altar with flowers. Let me see if I can go back. Here you see flowers and stones. I use sound healing tools. This is a tuning fork. I activate the hip bones because there's a lot of bone marrow that is really highly beneficial for our womb. So we activate the bone the bone marrow in our hips, and that will nourish our womb. And here's the womb massage with special oils that we make here with herbs. And this is the suyok, which is the Korean acupuncture. Suyok means hands and feet. So basically in our hands and our fingers and our toes and our feet, we have the whole body represented. So we will use seeds and color and sometimes moxa as well, which is that burning herbs that you just put on the special points. And it brings amazing results. Here we can see these are the women conception points here, and we have to use color red. And this is the womb points here. And we put a happy face where everything is smiles, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This is the womb space. We also put here the seeds. And this treatment starts with 15 days, and I combine it with the herbal steam and the energy work. So of course, my recommendation to all the women that are listening to this presentation and will listen to it later is create your own experience. You know, trust your lineage also. the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, the great-great-grandmothers, the past life, so that we can be here today and that you can also past life. Trust your gut. In our wombs, we have our gut feeling, our intuition. I'm not saying we have our gut. I would say we have our intuition. And don't let fear conquer your decisions. Find your local doulas, your herbalists. Find also that other set of wonderful professionals that are helping so many women with their health in a natural and non-intrusive way. Remember that you have the voice of the wise women in you because you have your grandmothers, great-grandmothers, all that lineage is behind you. And I'll be happy also to help you if you feel the calling to work with me. Here's a picture of us about to do the womb blessing. And if we have time, we can do a short womb healing meditation. I guess we do. So let's do a womb healing meditation. I'm going to use my bells. These are my bells from Peru. First, I'm going to call in. And then we're going to do a shamanic womb healing meditation. I'm going to use my rattle, also from Peru. The rattle represents the feminine and the masculine. This will represent the masculine and this will represent the feminine. Why? Because it represents the ovaries. And the seeds represent all the ovules inside the women's ovaries. So imagine how powerful it is that we can do healing to our womb with a rattle. Ancient tools of healing, and that luckily has been passed down from generation to generation, and we still have had the opportunity to have these traditions alive. So thank you to all the grandmothers and grandfathers. So ground your feet wherever you are. Just ground your feet. If you're sitting down, or if you want to lay down, you can just really relax your spine with Mother Earth, with Pachamama. And we're gonna call her. This is how the shamans in Peru call Pachamama, Mother Earth. Madre Tierra, Pachamama, Mother Earth. Hampe. Come here with us right now. Hampe. To the grandmothers, to the grandfathers, to the sages, to all the healers that have walked before us, the medicine woman, the wise women, the wise men, the medicine men. Hampe. Come be with us today. Make this a healing space for all the women that will watch this meditation. Hampe. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to place your hands in your womb. You can place one in your heart and one in your womb. Let's start by taking 3 deep breaths and exhale. As you breathe in, try to send all that breath into your lower abdomen. You can feel your hand in your womb just elevating with your breath. Observe if the breath is going to your chest. That is something we do when we feel we're out of breath. So now you can relax and trust and drop down into your womb, into your belly. Send all that nourishment from the fresh oxygen that you're giving with your breath. Breathe in. Breathe out all the toxins, all the negative thoughts, all the stress. Shoo. And give that to Mother Earth so she can make compost with it. Breathe in, and as you breathe in this time, I'm going to ask you to smile. And let that smile grow also in your womb and in your heart. Take 2 more deep breaths with the smile. Smile. Finding that space within you of serenity, of surrendering, feeling the womb of Mother Earth holding you, cradling you, feeling grounded, supported, loved, nourished, and opening up to the great cosmic Mother, to the universe, to Divine Father, Divine Mother, always watching over you, protecting you, guiding you. Connecting to the soul of that baby that you so much want to bring to this world that needs the light and the love of all the mothers and fathers. And repeat out loud, my womb is not a place to store fear or pain. My womb is
to create
and give birth
and give birth
to life.
to life.
That is the 13th rite of the Munaiki, the rite of the womb. Just receive that seed of light in your womb. Receive the pouring of energy in your heart, in your womb. And as you're there, I'm going to activate with the rattle. Feel the sounds of the rattle. Clearing, 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 activating the ovaries, the womb, bringing health and vibrant health and pleasure, because pleasure is medicine as well. Just observe if any memories come up, or emotions, or colors, or family members. Just observe and release. aware how you feel. If there's any difference. I'm going to share with you the water song because water has memory and we are made of 70% water. With this song that our grandmothers have shared from the Algonquin Nation. Feel their blessings, your water, sing. Nibi wapu endayen hakim nibi wapu heya 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 ho heya 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 hey. Nibi wapu endayen akimis nibi wapu heya 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 hey heya 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 oh. Nibi wapu endayen akimis nibi wapu heya 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 hey heya 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 oh.
Beautiful.
From the center of my womb to the center of your womb, I bow to you and I pray that you find happiness, health, creativity, joy, and so much love. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. I wish the same for you too. And I wish that for all of our viewers who are participating with us today. Um, this is a really unique opportunity and experience to share practices that may not be experienced by the average person. Um, Here in South Florida, I would say that we're very fortunate that there's so many cultures and it's such a melting pot of traditions and practices that it allows us, especially for this particular platform, it allows us to just be open to exploring and just sharing. I've never had this opportunity before, but the fact that this is a tradition that has been passed down by various cultures way before me, that is enough for me to show it respect and honor. And I know that it definitely has worked for our ancestors, particularly from Peru. Are you from Peru?
No, I'm from Venezuela originally.
Okay.
Venezuela is the Andes. You know, we have the Andes Mountains that go from Argentina to Venezuela. It's a back
Right.
South America. So
Right.
we share the Andes culture.
Right.
So we are from the
You're
Andes.
part of that lineage, yes. And if anyone knows anything about Peru,
Thank you,
but
Alexandra.
there's that book called Celestial
Prophecies.
Prophecies.
Amazing book. Yeah.
Celestial Prophecies is based in Peru.
Yes.
I think they did a little film about it too.
Yeah.
Basically, it's sharing that Peru has a lot of amazing energy,
Yeah.
energy that are out of this world.
Mhm.
type of energy, like extraterrestrial type of energy. Um,
Oh, this country is amazing. The US, North America. Oh my goodness, all the lineage here of the First Nations, the different tribes, the grandmothers and grandfathers. There was a grandfather that once was weeping so much because he said he was really so sad that all the medicine women were, disappear, but he knew they were coming back. And so all the ancestors, they have still the original teachings. Yes, from Peru. Yes, here from the Hopis or the Algonquins, or it's just so beautiful that it's coming back.
and it's interesting because of COVID-19. No, there's a lot of different conversations going on. One conversation I'm hearing is that we're being forced to go back to nature. We're being forced to revisit um, how we have done things in the past in order to be self sustaining. Um, and if we now have, and actually, I've heard people say that they've started gardening, they're going back to the earth, they're physically touching the soil again, something that they weren't doing for a really long time. And if we're about to go through this new chapter, this new phase, I don't want to say it's a phase, it's a new evolution, a revolution of the mind, body, and spirit. Um, it really would be interesting to see where this goes, especially knowing that there is power in the earth, there's power in Mother Nature, power beyond what we can even think about.
And
Um,
that I didn't mention is that this womb blessing came to me 10 years ago, but because maybe 12 years ago, I really heard the calling of the mother. And it was so big. I wanted to start planting gardens and all of this. She held me in my most difficult moment in my life, big depression. Everything went absolutely backwards. It was so hard. And who was there holding me was Mother Earth. So it was the call of the mother. And there's, look, Alexandra, thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank
so Sandra and Aisha,
you.
thank you. So I
And
have a question for you, Maria. I know we're talking about fertility and healing the womb through meditation, but what are the circumstances that a woman needs to, well, what are the circumstances that would require someone to consider meditation? Do they need to have had trauma? Do they don't need to have trauma? Do they do they need to go get over fertility hurdles? What are the prerequisites to consider this service with you?
that's a good question. I feel that all women and men are called to go back to the mother. That's like the big call. And I think women are, especially because through us, we will give birth to this new world, that new evolution stage, or that what you were saying before. And for me, the ultimate tool to get in touch with our feminine essence is connecting to our womb. And so whether you want to, start a path towards fertility or whatever it is that you are in the world here to create, let's just claim our connection to our womb, because it literally was this turned off. Let's turn it back on and let's nourish from that source. It's our birthright, whether we have a womb or not, because we have discovered that energetically we can connect to it. And I didn't mention this time, but last year when I was at the Fertility Expo, I did mention about the research that has been done. When wombs are removed, they've discovered that it was associated with memory. So wombs that have been removed in rats, they did this experiment with rats. They couldn't get out of this maze as they knew before the wombs were removed. So that was pretty impressive to see that. And we have have some questions here.
Yeah, we do. So we have Aisha. She said, hi, Aisha. You said, I might have missed some of the talk at the beginning. Is there a meditation practice that we can conduct on our own? And is there a certain time during our cycle that we should meditate?
Those are really good questions, Aisha. Yes, and the meditation is very simple. Place your hands in your womb when you're laying down and breathe into your womb. I have 7 meditations for free to heal your womb in Spanish in my YouTube channel. I'm gonna have to do them in English as well. So basically, lay down, place your hands in your womb, and breathe into your womb 21 times. And when you breathe, that you're breathing in your womb is going to expand. You know, that air that you're breathing in is activating the fire in your womb. Remember, it's getting back to the relationship, the right relationship with our elements that we have in our body. We are made of earth, fire, water, air, right? So
Right.
breathe in and activate your womb 21 times every day. What time during your cycle, it doesn't matter. During menstruation, I would do nothing because it's the
Okay.
time of the crone where we go into deep, 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 deep waters. And just by menstruating, you're already receiving a lot. Just stop. I did a 17-month retreat with a shaman from Ecuador, a woman, where we would go into complete silence for 3 days during our menstruation
Wow.
to go in
That's
deep.
17 months?
Yeah, during those 17 months, 3 days a month, we would retreat. We had to complete 14 retreats on those 17 months.
And when is your next retreat, Maria, here in South Florida?
I don't have a date. We're doing mostly
Okay.
online right now, but
Okay.
soon, soon, absolutely. And Alexandra
So
is,
what is
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, Alexandra was saying, wonderful conversation, so lovely. I got called to your meditation today. Mother Earth has been calling to me a lot lately as well. Yes, Alexandra, Mother Earth is calling a lot of us. I think there's a big awakening taking place right now, particularly around the womb and healing. I think there's a global call taking place for us.
It's so important. If we look back into our ancestors, one artist told me one, because I used to work in media and I was interviewing this fabulous artist. Her name is Concha Buica, and she's African Spanish and she sings flamenco. She's beautiful. And she was telling me, my sister, all women are united by tears. I was like, oh, wow. And I went like this. I said, it's true because, we've gone through a lot and we still do. And in third world, countries that are still developing, we know the stories.
Right.
So, and this empowerment comes from there, from our womb
Right.
being mistreated, so much abuse, and so it's the time to reclaim our power, which is God's power in us. It's the
Right.
universe. We are the portal. So
Well,
yes,
Maria, I really want to thank you for sharing. As we close out, I just want to ask you, where can our viewers find out more about your company and your services?
absolutely. Can I write it here? My website.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it's because I use my Spanish name. It's Maria. Let me see if I can text. I don't know if I can text here, but it's Maria Milagros,
Okay.
but SOY, or my phone number, my business phone, which is 786
Hold on, 786.
361
Please repeat that, 786.
361 8242. Yes. On my web page, I think I had it here in the presentation.
I think I got a number missing here. So I got 786
361
3.
8242.
Okay, 786 31.
No, 361
I can't hear you.
786 361.
361.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 8242.
Oh, and there's my web page. Thank you, Andreina.
Okay, and there's your number. I just put your number up under your name. 786 361 8242.
Yes, and my web page is there on the comments.
Yeah, your web page right here is, okay, I can't grab it, but it is definitely there on the, it's there on the on the chat. I'm sure someone Googles you, they'll definitely be able to find you as well.
Thank
So
you
let me just show you.
This was a pleasure.
Yes.
This is my
I appreciate it.
the womb gospels.
Yes, definitely. And so everyone knows you don't have to be in Miami to meet up with Maria. You can give her a call. You can find her online. She does online workshops as well. And you will be seeing a lot more of Maria as we move forward with our video blogs and conversations. I know she is very, very strong in other areas. I didn't know you were in production too.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So we have some some announcements coming in the future, and we just want you to stay with us and definitely share and subscribe. That's the next thing. Share and subscribe. There's power in numbers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Success for everything that you're doing, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
Bro, thank you for making me part of it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well,
Okay. Happy Sunday, everyone. Bye.